Dear Edit, what is the best April Fool's Day prank you ever saw, completed yourself, or heard about? In 3rd grade, two of the teachers were best friends, so they both pranked our classes by saying we were going on a field trip for a while and hyped it up so much we even got lined up at the door and everything. Then they just yelled April Fools. Imagine our disappointment. Some kids even started crying a little. They felt kinda bad, so they promised to make it up by giving us all brownies at the end of the day. That cheered everyone right up. Although we shouldn't have trusted them again, because when the end of the school day rolled around and we were all wanting our yummy brownies, they come in and give us these stupid brown letteries made of paper. I am still upset to this day. I just wanted some brownies, man. I had a teacher tell the whole 4th grade class that she was bringing each of us a pet on Monday. We were all so excited. Was it a cat? A dog? Did it matter? It was a new pet. I spent the weekend imagining my new life with the dog she was bringing me, and she handed out pet rocks. Still salty about it to this day. My parents pulled the same stuff when I was younger. We were driving home after a vacation and they told me there was a change of plans and they were taking me to a hotel where they would bring you whatever pet you wanted to your room and you could play with it as much as you wanted. I was so stoked for this magical hotel of joy, and we just went home, and the pets were my own pets, which of course I loved. But if you promise a little kid a magical hotel of endless pets and then troll them on it, they are going to develop trust issues. The guy who burned hundreds of tires in a dormant volcano to make people think it erupted again was my favorite. When I was like 12, my mom would always make cream of wheat or oatmeal for my sis, 2 years older, and me in the morning. So I took our sugar caddy and switched the sugar for salt. My sis sits down for breakfast and adds some sugar to my meal. My sis was obsessed with sugar at the time, so she loads her bowl with the salt, thinking it's sugar. She takes a bite, not suspecting a thing since she saw me stir sugar in and I was about to take a bite, and she almost pukes on the table. Apparently it was like just taking a big bite of salt. She runs to the kitchen sink to spit it out and wash her mouth. Neither of us knew my mom had taped down the handle on the little hose nozzle, so when she threw the sink on high she got hit in the chest with a spray of cold water. It was a great bonus for me. I was in tears, I laughed so hard. I was working at a doctor's office, and the parking situation was limited, so we had to take a shuttle to the office building. On the shuttle was all my co-workers with the exception of the office manager. We all decided it would be hilarious to call out of work, one by one. All 6 of us, one at a time, one right after the other, called out, the manager getting more and more hysterical with each call. We walked into the office 20 seconds later, and she was in full panic mode. Pretty funny stuff. I come from a small country town in rural Australia. Since it's small, it's consequently conservative and somehow filled to the brim with both hippies and bogans, neither of which like big companies messing with their small town businesses. When I was a kid, there was this piece of land in town which used to have a petrol station on it. The station was gone, but all of the land was contaminated, so none of the locals could afford to buy it and clean it up. It was always assumed it would be bought by a big corporation and developed, which is something a bunch of small town people did not want. Come April Fool's Day, locals wake up to see a huge, very official looking sign on the fence of the site saying, "McDonald's opening here soon." Cue small town outrage. Petitions in every shop in town against it. We got told in school by teachers how it would negatively affect the town, and pretty much every local in town was phoning up Macus raging about how they couldn't stand for it. No one bothered to check the fine print down the bottom which said, "For inquiries call Ronald." The person/persons responsible behind were never caught despite the manhunt. The next year for April Foods, someone put a red-headed scarecrow on the fence. It got torn apart very quickly. No one needed a reminder of how a single sign embarrassed an entire town. A radio station where I grew up used to do some good ones. One year, they did one faking Britney Spears' death. They were later kicked off the air for it. They had people calling in and giving eyewitness accounts and stuff. Hilarious. They also did one where they pretended the station had changed to a Spanish language station. It was hard rock. They did an entire show in Spanish, with music and everything. Not April Fools. It the best dad prank my dad ever pulled in my opinion. When I was in 3rd grade, I had to write A biography of my dad. So I had all the normal stuff. My dad was born in West Branch, MI. My dad went to Ojamore Heights High School. My dad's best friend was named Ben Dover. And it got worse. My dad and Ben liked to golf together. My dad remembers that Ben was always very gentle with the balls but held a shaft too tight. Took until last year when our basement flooded and we had to take all of that stuff upstairs for me to find it. I turned that into my teacher. No one said anything. All day today I've been convincing my sisters there is a prank. A huge prank. They've checked the candy they got today, all of their clothes and bed. They are terrified. The prank is that I'm too lazy to have set anything up. There is no prank. One time when I was a kid, my dad woke me up frantically saying that I was going to be late for school. This was sometime during my elementary years. I panicked and rushed through my morning routine. It was not until I was outside at the bus stop waiting that I realized no other kids on the block were also at the stop. After about 10 minutes, I look at my house and see my dad with his head poking out of the door just snickering to himself. It turns out it was Saturday. Late to the party, but here goes. Somebody I know works in a restaurant, so he's frequently cleaning tables. On April Fools, he took an empty spray bottle of the red cleaning solution he normally used and filled it with cherry Kool-Aid. He then proceeded to pretend to clean a table, wait until someone was watching him, and then casually unscrew the cap and take a drink. When I was in 5th grade, my dad and I took donuts and filled them up with mayonnaise. We then gave them to my mom, my brother, and my sister. The both of us watched in complete joy as each of them spit the donuts out in disgust. My mom started cursing us out in Korean while my little sister started crying. My brother on the other hand didn't notice it was mayonnaise until he halfway finished it. He's the airhead of the family. My dad's laugh was amazing. He is a Jamaican guy so he's just shouting. It wasn't real mon. It wasn't a real donut. I'll never forget that day. My friend recently signed a lease at an apartment complex meant for college students. They recently released an update for their new at-home camera systems that recorded all activity inside the units. This place released video examples and marketed it as though it was something they'd already tested at one of their complexes. The whole point was that you would be on constant surveillance and your parents would have access to the footage. It was only after many angry college students threatened to cancel their lease that it was leaked that it was all an April Fool's joke. Back when I was in 2nd grade my family had just gotten a puppy and she wasn't entirely potty trained yet so she'd pooped in the house on occasion. On this April Fool's Day my mom made brownies. Awesome. I love brownies. So later that day when I was in the living room my mom yelled from me from the dining room, "Michelangelo, Lola just pooped, come clean it up." So I got up and went to the dining room and my mom had a napkin in her hand and picked up the poop with it and said, "Ugh, forget it," and put it in her mouth. I was absolutely mortified. My mom ate dog poop. Then she told me it was a brownie she'd rolled up to look like dog poop. We had a laugh about it and the brownies were really good. Left a note for a co-worker saying he missed a call from a Mr. Bear. Phone number was for a zoo in a different state.